Encountering audience triggers a necessary crisis that forces integration and personal evolution. Have you ever met someone and, within days, felt like your entire life had been knocked off its axis? It's not just that they are charming or interesting, it's something deeper. It's a feeling of recognition mixed with terror. You feel drawn to them, but you also want to run away. Maybe it was a new partner who dismantled your walls in a week. Maybe it was a rival who made you irrationally angry. Or maybe a friend who showed up and suddenly made you realize how small you've been playing. We often write these people off as soulmates or, conversely, as toxic. But what if I told you that according to Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, these people aren't random? What if they are actually external manifestations of your own unconscious mind? Today, we are diving deep into the Jungian Shadow. We are going to explore the concept of the shadow mirror, and we are going to go through 8 distinct signs that the person you've just met is a catalyst who is here to break you open and put you back together, hopefully better than before. This is the shadow test. Let's see if they pass. Before we get to the signs, we need to understand the mechanism. Carl Jung coined the term the shadow to describe the unconscious parts of our personality that our conscious ego rejects. These are the parts of us we deem unacceptable: our jealousy, our aggression, our greed, but also our immense creativity, our power, and our wildness. Because society tells us to be good, we repress these traits. We lock them in the basement of our psyche. Sign number 1 is that your emotions stop making sense. When you meet a normal person, your reactions are proportionate. If they're late, you're mildly annoyed. If they're mean, you are angry. But a shadow catalyst creates disproportionate reactions. You meet them and suddenly you're furious or elated or terrified. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." If you find yourself thinking, "I don't know why I'm so upset," or "Why does this person bother me so much?" you're in the presence of the shadow. If they trigger a rage in you that feels ancient, like it's been waiting there for years, that is a test. They are holding up a mirror to a wound you didn't know you had. The irritation isn't about them, it's about what they represent. They represent the freedom you don't allow yourself, or the selfishness you suppress. If you feel like you are going crazy around them, that's sign number 1. Sign number 2 is the flip side of the coin. It's not just about irritation, it's about obsession. We usually think of projection as negative, but Jung also spoke of the golden shadow. These are the positive traits we have disowned. Maybe you were taught to be humble, so you repressed your ambition. Maybe you were taught to be practical, so you repressed your artistic flair. When you meet someone who embodies those repressed traits, you don't get mad, you get starstruck. You think, "I want to be with them," but psychologically what you mean is, "I want to be them." If you've met someone who changes your life, you likely felt an immediate magnetic pull. It feels like destiny. You can't get them out of your head. This isn't necessarily romance, it's recognition. They are living out the potential you're afraid to own. If you idolize them, if you think they're perfect, be careful. That is a projection. And the lesson here is not to worship them, but to realize that you're capable of what they have. They are showing you who you could be. Sign number 3, chaos, specifically the disruption of your carefully curated patterns. The ego loves order. It loves routine. It loves waking up at 7 a.m., drinking the same coffee, going to the same job, and having the same conversations. It feels safe. A shadow catalyst does not care about your routine. In fact, they seem to delight in breaking it. Maybe you meet this person and suddenly you're staying up until 3 a.m. talking about the universe. Maybe you take a spontaneous trip. Maybe you quit your job. It feels destabilizing. It feels like your life is spinning out of control. But Jung would say your life was stuck, and this person is the earthquake necessary to shake the foundations so you can build a new house. If you meet someone and your life immediately stops looking like your life, that is a massive sign. They are an agent of chaos, but in alchemy, chaos is the first step towards turning lead into gold. Sign number 4 is closely related to the others, but let's get specific. This person does things that you would never do. Let's say you pride yourself on being a nice person. You're polite, you accommodate everyone, you never rock the boat. You identify as a peacekeeper. Then you meet this person. They are blunt, they are assertive, they say no without apologizing, they ask for what they want. On the surface, you judge them. You think, wow, they are so rude, they are so selfish. But deep down, you are jealous. You wish you had the guts to be that selfish. You wish you could assert your boundaries like that. They are living out your shadow. They are carrying the sin of selfishness so you don't have to. But by being around them, you start to realize that what you called selfishness is actually just healthy boundaries. If they embody everything your parents told you not to be, and yet they are successful and happy, they are going to change your life by showing you that the rules you live by are optional. Encountering audience triggers a necessary crisis that forces integration and personal evolution. Sign number 5 is the feeling of exposure. Most interactions in life are superficial. We wear masks. We show people the persona, the social mask Jung said we present to the world. But a shadow catalyst has X-ray vision. Within minutes of meeting them, they ask a question that hits a nerve. They make a joke that cuts a little too close to the bone. They look at you and you feel like they can see your skeletons in the closet. This is terrifying. It usually makes us want to retreat. We call these people intense. We say they are too much. But what is actually happening is that they are operating on a higher frequency of intuition. Because they are in touch with their own shadow, they can spot yours. If you feel naked around someone, if you feel like you can't lie to them, pay attention. That discomfort is the feeling of your defenses crumbling, and you cannot grow until your defenses crumble. Sign number 6 requires a bit of a Greek lesson. Jung used a term called enantiodromy, which basically means running counter to. It's the idea that any extreme will eventually turn into its opposite. When you meet a shadow catalyst, your life begins to swing violently. If you were incredibly uptight, you might suddenly start acting recklessly. If you were a people pleaser, you might suddenly feel filled with rage. If you were hyper-responsible, you might want to abandon everything and just play. This person triggers a psychological pendulum. Because they represent the side of you you've suppressed, your psyche overcorrects to try to find balance. You might find yourself acting in ways that are so unlike you. You shock your friends, you shock yourself. This is a sign that the shadow is emerging. It's messy, it's clumsy, but it is essential. You are moving from a one-sided existence, all good, all order, to a whole existence, light and dark, order and chaos. Sign number 7, the universe starts getting weird. Jung coined the term synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences that cannot be explained by cause and effect. When you meet someone who is going to change your life, you enter a field of heightened synchronicity. You mentioned a movie from your childhood and they reveal it's their favorite. You both have the same obscure scar on your left elbow. You think about them and they text you instantly. Skeptics call this probability. Psychologists call this selective attention. You're just noticing things because you're infatuated. Jung, however, believed that when two unconscious minds touch, time and space bend slightly. The connection is so dense that it warps the field around it. If you meet someone and the world starts to feel like a movie script, if things happen that are just too perfect to be random, you are dealing with a high-level archetypal connection. Finally, sign number 8. This is the hardest one. The ultimate sign that you've met a shadow catalyst is that the relationship, whether it's a romance, a friendship, or a mentorship, often ends. Or, at the very least, the version of you that entered the relationship dies. We want the happily ever after. We want the person to come in, fix us, and stay forever. But the shadow's job is to integrate, not to stick around. Once the lesson is learned, the projection often falls away. You stop seeing them as a god or a monster, and you start seeing them as a regular human being. Sometimes the relationship becomes volatile once the magic wears off. Sometimes you outgrow them. Sometimes they outgrow you. But you are not the same. You cannot go back. You have met the shadow, you have wrestled with it, and you have integrated a piece of it. You are bigger than you were before. You are more whole. If you are going through a painful ending with someone right now, and you feel like your world is ending, ask yourself, who was I before I met them, and who am I now? If the answer is different, then they served their purpose. They changed your life. Now, a very important disclaimer. I need you to hear this. Just because someone is a shadow catalyst, just because they trigger you and change your life, does not mean you should stay with them. There is a difference between a shadow catalyst and an abuser. An abuser shatters your self-esteem to feed their own ego. A shadow catalyst challenges your self-esteem to help you find your own power. Abuse depletes you. Shadow work exhausts you, but eventually it energizes you. If you're in a situation that is dangerous, physically or emotionally, that is not integration, that is destruction. Please get out. But assuming the relationship is safe, even if it's difficult, the discomfort is the point. You don't go to the gym to lift feathers, you go to lift heavy weights. These people are the heavy weights of your emotional life. So, you've recognized the signs, you've realized this person is your shadow mirror. What do? Step 1, own the projection. Whenever you feel that intense irritation or admiration, pause. Say to yourself, this is not about them, this is about me. Ask, what part of myself am I seeing in them? If they are arrogant, ask where I am arrogant. If they are beautiful and free, ask where I am suppressing my own beauty. Take the energy back from the projection and put it into your own life. Conclusion. Carl Jung wrote, "There is no birth of consciousness without pain." When you meet someone who changes your life, it is going to hurt. It is going to be confusing. You will feel things you didn't want to feel. But this is the price of wholeness. We aren't meant to be flat, one-dimensional characters. We are meant to be vast. We are meant to contain the light and the dark, the hero and the villain. These people, the shadow catalysts, they are the teachers who show up uninvited. They smash the furniture, they leave the door open, and they force you to walk through it into a life you didn't even know you wanted. So, if you're thinking of someone right now, if your heart is beating a little bit faster because you recognize them in these signs, don't run. Look in the mirror, meet your shadow, and change your life. If you want to dive deeper into your own psyche, check out this video we did on the Jungian archetypes. It will help you figure out which character role you're playing in this movie. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Until next time, do the shadow work.